Being able to get your truck sponsored will create many opportunities for you and will also help you to benefit your community in many ways. So you'll win with more sponsorships and the community will win because you will now be able to afford to go do great things to help others with that truck thanks to your local sponsors. The drivers struggle to get sponsors for many reasons. One of the biggest reasons they will tell you is they simply don't have the time. I mean, they have jobs, they have to work on their vehicles, they help the community, their fathers, you know, they're in a relationships, they have things to do, and they don't have the time to simply to chase down sponsors. And many sponsors will take months even to decide, and they got to follow up, and they simply don't have the time to chase sponsors. Many drivers tell me they certainly do not have a proven formula or a system that's been proven to get them sponsored, not a ABC 1, 2, 3 formula. They simply see somebody they think might be interested in sponsors and they'll say, hey, you want to sponsor my truck? Also, many drivers are competing with other drivers for the same sponsors. I mean, after all, there's only so many local dealerships that sell monster truck tires or sell transmission repairs or graphics, and all the drivers are approaching these same little sponsors saying, pick me, pick me, pick me. And you're both offering pretty much the same thing. Sponsor me and I'll put your logo on my truck and I'll park my truck in front of your business every once in a while to let people know that you sponsor me. That's it, okay? And since you're all offering the same, it's hard for you to get a sponsor over another driver when you're attracting the same sponsors. But the biggest reasons that drivers fail to get sponsors is because of fear. They fear they don't know where to go. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to offer a potential sponsor. They don't know how much to ask for in cash-wise. They don't know how to confirm it. They're not sure how to follow up. They don't know how to reward the sponsor. And they certainly fear of just being rejected. So because of lack of time, because they don't have a formula for getting sponsors, because they're competing with other drivers, and because they fear all these things, most drivers just pay to drive that truck out of their own pocket. They take money from their family, from their job, and yes, they make money with the truck, but most do not even break even. And owning a monster truck, in my opinion, from what I hear, many drivers pay to perform because of the love of the sport. But wouldn't it be nice if you had enough sponsor money that take care of all your expenses so that whatever you did for a living or whether you perform full-time or part-time with a monster truck, that the truck would take care of itself? Wouldn't that be nice? You know, my name is Claude Hagerty. I was a grand scale illusionist for 36 years. I did 11,000 magic shows from coast to coast. And even though I worked with lions, tigers, cougars, and jaguars, you know, even though I made an elephant disappear, even though I performed in 4 NHL arenas, even though I opened the biggest mall in the world for 140,000 people, even though Jay Leno talked about me on the Jay Leno show, it is the work I have done to help children and nonprofit groups across Canada is what I want to be remembered for. Folks, I grew up in 4 foster homes. I stuttered so bad. My teacher would ask me a question in class. I would stand up, try to answer the question. I would like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I couldn't get the words out. The kids would laugh and call me names right in classroom. At recess time, as soon as I went outside, the bullies would come behind me and they would pretend they're stuttering. They would mimic me. They were like, whoa, 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 what are you going to do about it? Things like that. And it was nonstop. At recess time, I just avoided the playground. I would just run to the library to be safe. I would read all the books out loud so I thought maybe one day I could get over my stuttering. But I loved the magic books. I used to go to my principal's deck of cards. I probably drove him crazy. Sir, pick a card. He was very patient with me. He always told me, good job, good trick. I have no idea how you did that. He always praised me. One day my principal said there's a big magic show coming to a nearby city. Got 4 tickets for this show. There's only 4 people in his family. So he had a random draw. From the 700 kids at the school, I would win that lucky magic ticket. I got to go with my principal and his family to be amazed. Saw this big magic show. I told my principal when I grew up, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a professional magician. He looked at me and said, yes, you are. And I believed him. He believed in me when no one else would. I went on, I found my way, raising over $5 million for charity with my little magic show. I went to 8,000 schools for free to share my story of not giving up, of believing in yourself, how to use that library to say focus on your dreams. Talked a little bit about bullying, which I know from firsthand experience and how I got through all of that. And you know what's amazing? 30,000 sponsors come on board all across the country. They send me money on a regular basis, and they tell me one thing: just go out and make good things happen. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the importance of getting sponsored. I was able to take my little magic show, develop it into a big production, raising millions of dollars for nonprofit groups to help children the way I grew up, all thanks to the ability to have sponsors. I would get $2,500 to $5,000 in every show from sponsors alone. So I could do a show, charge an admission, I could give that admission to a local charity, and I'm more than compensated because my sponsors have more than taken care of me to come to this community to make the magic happen. 2016, I retired from being a magician after 36 years on the road, and entertainers from all over the world started contacting me, asking if I could help them with sponsorship. So I decided to call this program KISS Sponsorships, KISS, which stands for Keeping It Super Simple, so that you can keep it super successful. Let's face it, I stuttered most of my life. I wasn't about to go in and do a long, blown-out presentation. I was hoping to get that sponsorship as easy as possible because of the way I stuttered. And entertainers wanted to learn from me some of my strategies on getting sponsors so they in turn could go out and do great things in their community and get $2,500 to $5,000 in sponsorship money for every gig where they could go out and help a local nonprofit group. Let me ask you this. If someone was willing to pay you $2,500 to $4,000 for every free show you were able to go out and help a nonprofit group, how many groups would you go help, right? There's no limit. Sponsors want to do good things in a community. They just want to make sure that their money is being well served, right? So I created this program, KISS Sponsorships, and since I've never taught an entertainer before this period, I don't want to use these strategies for myself. I never share with anybody else. To test the waters, I created a little alpha group. I took a handful of entertainers, and we met each week online. I sent them some video trainings, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I started them in kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. And over an 8-week period, I taught them everything that I thought they needed to know to transform their business so they could go out and meet with nonprofit groups in confidence. They could meet with sponsors in confidence. And I taught them, they asked questions, I learned from them, they learned from me, and we all learned from each other. Alpha Group, this was just to test the water to see, because I knew these strategies worked. I had already done millions of dollars results, but I never taught anybody. It was interesting to see, could I teach this in a way that they could go out and get the same results? The results were fantastic. Some of my students went out, the second or third day into the program. One of my sponsors is now on tour up in the Arctic doing anti-bullying program. And we got him a $5,000 program 3 or 4 days after he joined my program. I had another gentleman, the second day went on and got a $600 sponsor after watching the first training video in the series. One of my students got $10,000 in one sponsor deal. The same gentleman did $20,000 in a month. And my students were out just making some simple tweaks that they learned through this alpha program. They were able to go get all results as well. And the object was is that as I taught them, I recorded all the information that I shared with them. I recorded all their questions, which helped me to better this program so that I could then go out and help other entertainers around the world to go into their communities to serve nonprofit groups as well. It's very humbling for a kid who grew up in foster care that because I helped these 10 or 20 entertainers who are out serving their community, that I'm able to help children all over the world to benefit from my expertise, even though I've never been to the communities. Because at each time, each one of these members go and do great things, it's all because I shared some of these simple principles with them in this little alpha group. in this little beta and alpha groups, they were able to ask questions. We posted all the videos. So everything happened right inside an enclosed Facebook area. So it was turnkey, hassle free, everything they needed to know. And even long after the alpha and beta groups were finished, I put 20 people through the alpha group, then I did a beta group, put 20 people through the beta group, and then once I took all the information from the alpha and the beta group, we streamlined everything, and eventually I had my program. Some of my students in the alpha group, I taught them things like how to create and present irresistible offers so that when they did go out and meet with sponsors, the sponsor said yes. So it didn't take a whole lot of time because they knew how to create and present these irresistible offers. I taught them how to create urgency with no pressure. And this is important, urgency, because the nonprofit groups, they don't need help a year from now. They need help now. The soup kitchens, they're looking for food for next week. You know, the cystic fibrosis or the Goodwill or any of these nonprofit groups, you know, the firefighters, they're all looking for immediate results. So getting sponsors on board sooner than later helps you to serve more people sooner than later. So in our training program, I shared with them how to create urgency with zero pressure. I answered all their questions about sponsorship so they knew where to go, what to say, what to do first, when to do this, and how to do that. And again, it was win-win. These entertainers from both the alpha and the beta groups, they went out, they got mass results. The champions, the sponsors, they were happy because it brought awareness to their businesses. All the nonprofit groups, they raised tons of food for food banks, and all the groups they served got funds and awareness. And I got a little credibility that I helped them. So the entertainers won, the nonprofit groups won, all the sponsors win, and I win as well. And that is the whole idea of creating a win-win community cross-promotion. All the students who went through my alpha and beta programs on this sponsorship for entertainers, I took all that footage, I edited everything, put into one master program. That's the final version. I now have this KISS sponsorship for entertainers that I'm able to help entertainers all over the world to go out and raise funds and awareness for nonprofit groups and dramatically increase their income and their business as well. Again, win-win. I also oversee and consult Merrittville Speedway. I help them to increase their sponsorships. Nobody knows sponsorships more than a racetrack. This racetrack has been in existence for 69 years. Yet I was able to help them to increase their sponsorships. I also helped them to dramatically increase their attendance at their events. Now, working at Merrittville, and also I've sponsored a lot of race cars over the years at Merrittville. Here's me back in, this is not me, but this is one of my drivers, Jason Harper. Jason worked with my Magic Show for many years, also raced every Saturday night, this Clyde Haggerty Magic. On the hood of the car is a photo of one of my Tigers. This is me sponsoring another event at Merrittville, sponsoring a race there, and I'm giving out some prizes for the winner of the drivers. And this is me, this is my company Submission Subs, so sponsor there again. This is me sponsoring another race car. And I also help Merrittville Speedway design a program that we call Merrittville Gives Back. I help the Speedway to partner with local nonprofit groups. So basically, we invite nonprofit groups to a race, and we actually donate money back to the cause. So it helps us to boost our attendance at the Speedway, and we've given out thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to the local groups. It's helped the Speedway to gain new customers. We get a lot of great publicity. It's great for our social media campaigns. The biggest thing is all the local schools and organizations in our area benefit because I was able to help the Speedway to implement this program called Merrittville Gives Back. And it's the same thing. We're just out helping those who need help, and we're paying it forward and profiting in the process. I'm in the process of creating my high-octane sponsored profit secrets. Working at the racetrack, I see a need for drivers to get sponsors for their race cars. 70 or 80% of every race car driver pays to race every Saturday night out of their own pocket. They have their pit crew, 2 or 3 friends who come and help them race. Those friends are expected to pay their own entrance fee. They're expected to buy their own food. And afterwards, if they go out, most times your friends that helped you all day or all night are expected to pay their own way as well. And the driver can't afford to pay it all out of their own pocket. And the biggest reason is they don't have enough sponsorships. So I'm actually in the process of creating an alpha group for race car drivers. I now have some race car drivers interested. I'm just launching this as we speak. I have around 25 drivers from around the world that I will teach everything they need to know in the next 8 weeks. So by January, they will be able to go out and seek sponsors for the race car drivers. And a lot of the principles are the same for the race car drivers as they are for the entertainers. But since an entertainer is out to create their own events and looking for venues, it's a little slightly different. race car drivers already have an event. They're already racing every Saturday night. And most drivers, they don't really know how to approach the potential customers. I know I get people approach me all the times, and there's definitely a need. Race car drivers, and again, they don't have time. They compete for the same sponsors. They don't really know what to say, how to do. They have the fear as well, right? So I'm creating this beta group for the race car drivers. And again, all those who graduate from this program will get a final version of my Sponsor Profit Secrets as well. And over the next year, I hope to work with at least 100 race car drivers across Canada and the United States to help them. Say, I love auto racing, and I know that the tracks need more cars out there. I mean, every car on the track brings 10 people in the stands. So on the average racetrack, if they have 100 cars on the track, they have 1,000 people in the stands. If they have 140 cars on the track, they have 1,400 in the stands. That's both how it works out. So the more race cars on the track, the better for the track. And the only way you get more cars on the track is to have more sponsors, right? That's why I'm helping them with their high octane Sponsor Profit Secrets. Again, it'll be win-win. The drivers will get sponsors. I'll get a little recognition that my strategies work not only for entertainers, but they also work for race car drivers as well. Recently, one of my students is Tim Fox. Tim Fox works for the Sheriff's Department out of the Nashville area. I've been coaching Tim Fox for about a year now on getting sponsorships. He's used my principles now for his strongman shows. Tim Fox works for the Sheriff's Department by day. His regular job's working with the Sheriff's Department, but on weekends and evenings, he's out performing as a strongman. He bends steel bars and breaks baseball bats and other amazing feats of strength. And here he's working with Scotty Krause at a recent event where they've actually pulled, I guess he hooks a rope to his arms and he pulls the truck across the parking lot after challenging people in the audience to do so, which they're not able to do it. And again, I think Scotty pulled the truck, and so did Tim Fox. This shows some pretty amazing feats of strength as an inspiration for young fans who was at the dealership. And this was all sponsored by Freedom Automotive. So after this event, I was congratulating Tim, who's one of my students, and I got a chance to meet Scotty. And we talked a little bit about sponsorships. And Scotty was telling me the same thing I hear from the racetrack drivers. 20% of the drivers have all the sponsors. The other 80%, they kind of struggle to get sponsors. And again, they're not really sure where to go, what to say. They have that same fear we talked about. So about 80% of their monster trucks are like the race car drivers, where they simply pay the expense of the truck out of their own pocket because they just don't have enough sponsorship money to take care of that. And after talking to Scotty about this, I contacted Marty at the Monster Truck Racing Association to see if this was a problem amongst all drivers. And we talked a little bit. And I know that the Monster Truck Racing Association is primarily focused on the safety aspects of monster trucks. But Marty thought, wow, yeah, sure. I think most of our members would benefit by getting the truck sponsored. And Marty and I are now talking about the possibility. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but we're even talking about the possibility that perhaps I might even work with the Monster Truck Racing Association, either through the conference or an ongoing basis. And I'm not sure what partnerships may or may not happen from there, but definitely been speaking to Marty to see if sponsorships would be of interest to the association and to the members. Again, I want this to be win-win. I want you to go out and get some sponsors. I want to see you do great things with your monster trucks to help other children the way I grew up. And I also looking for a little credibility that, yeah, not only do my ideas work for entertainers, not only do I help race car drivers to get sponsors, but yeah, my ideas and my concepts will work for monster truck owners as well. Scotty said, yeah, sure, we'd love some help. Me and my friends would love to get some sponsors. It's very hard to compete with the big guys. So today, just while I have you on this call, in this video, I'd like to share with you just a couple quick tips. And I'm hoping that you can take some of these little suggestions and use them right away. Again, these are just some simple strategies that you can use as of today. And here they are. First of all, I'd like to share with you, there are 3 things I say to begin every sponsor meeting. So whether I'm doing a sponsor meeting on the phone, whether I'm meeting with somebody in person, whether I'm sending out a video, whether I want to walk into the business, there are 3 things I say to myself to begin every sponsor meeting. I have found when I say these 3 things to myself, I've increased my income by probably $10,000 a year by saying these 3 things. And my conversion rate has gone up, skyrocketed. And this is one thing I highly recommend that you do, that you say to yourself every single time before you begin a sponsor meeting. Let me explain. The first thing I say to myself before I walk into a door of a potential sponsor, I say to myself, I will not prejudge. I will not prejudge. This is so important that you remind yourself, I will not prejudge. You know, it's easy to think maybe this business wouldn't sponsor me. Maybe they can't afford it, or look at the condition of this building. There's no way they're going to be able to do this. They're too big. I'm too small. Whatever BS reason you have in your head, there's only one way to find out if that business is interested in sponsoring you or not. You ask them, are you interested in sponsoring my truck? They say yes, they say yes. If they say no, they say no. But I always say to myself, I will not prejudge. The second thing I say to myself, very important, I say to myself, the second thing, I will not prejudge. And then guess what I say? Yep, I will not prejudge. So here's how it works. I walk up to a building. Before I walk in, I say to myself, I close my eyes, and I take 5 seconds. I say, I will not prejudge, I will not prejudge, I will not prejudge. And I walk and I do my presentation. I don't prejudge. I don't prejudge whether they can afford it. I don't prejudge whether they're interested. I go in, hey, I want to talk to you about a win-win community cross-promotion. If this makes sense, we'll do something. If not, no harm done. But I'm going to show you regardless of what I think inside. There has been so many times, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, where I thought to myself, there's no way that this is going to happen. I walked in, presented it, and walked out with a check. And I think, thank God that I said to myself, I will not prejudge, I will not prejudge, I will not prejudge. I'm telling you, if you have people that you are thinking about attracting or talking to about sponsors, you have people you're even thinking of now that you've been thinking about for a while, but you've never got around to go seeing them because you're thinking of all the reasons why they wouldn't do it. Maybe they already sponsor something else or somebody else, or for whatever reason. Say to yourself, these 3 things. I will not prejudge. I will not prejudge. I will not prejudge. Also, it's very important that not only do you not prejudge, it's also very important that we don't give those people we're looking to get sponsors from, that we don't give them the opportunity to prejudge us either. Because many times when we contact someone to set up a meeting, they say no before we even get there. No, I wouldn't be interested in that. I'm not interested. I can't afford that. You're like, can't afford what? You don't even know what I'm asking for. Why are you prejudging this? You have no idea what I'm going to offer. And yet you already said no. That's prejudging. So not only is it important that you don't prejudge, it's very important that you don't help them to prejudge either. See, many times they think you're coming by for a donation, and a donation is where they give you money and you give them nothing. That's what they're used to, all these nonprofit groups. You can talk to any business owner. They'll tell you they get 20 groups a week coming by looking for donations, right? So they prejudge you. They say, no, we have no money to donate, okay? Or we have no money to pay for advertising. And again, they're prejudging you. So one of the ways to help the situation so they don't prejudge is to watch your language. There's certain words I don't use. I don't use the F word. I don't use the S word. I use the D word. You see, when I say F word, like when I say fundraising, they think I'm going to talk about ticket sales. When I say sponsorships, I think I'm coming there for donations. You know, and then a donation is where they give me money, I give them nothing. So rather than saying any of those things, I come up with a wording that kind of avoids all of that so they can't prejudge. And I'm going to share it with you. What I normally do when I contact a local, whether it's a local nonprofit group to partner with or a local sponsor, I use these words. What do you want to talk to me about? Rather than saying I want to come to talk to you about sponsorships, I say things like, I want to talk to you about doing a win-win community cross-promotion. See? How do you prejudge that? Because you don't know what a win-win community cross-promotion is. I didn't tell you it cost anything. I didn't tell you anything. It's a win-win-win community cross-promotion. And if you ask me, well, what's a win-win-win community cross-promotion? This is a win-win-win community cross-promotion is something where members of the community all win. You, a local business owner, will win. The local food bank, they're going to win. Local children and local families here in the community, yeah, they're going to win. And me, I'm going to win too. We're all going to win. We're all going to help each other, and we're all going to win. I'd like to sit down with you for 5 or 10 minutes. I'd like to run an idea by you. If what I say to you makes sense, we'll do something. If not, no harm done. It's a win-win community cross-promotion. If I go to a real estate agent, why you come to me? I want to talk to you about a win-win community cross-promotion. Or what's a win-win community cross-promotion? Well, in this particular win-win community cross-promotion, the food bank's going to win, the firefighters are going to win, local children are going to win, and as a matter of fact, one realtor will win as well. And since you are a realtor, I thought maybe perhaps you would be interested in joining us on this win-win-win community cross-promotion. Okay? I'm telling you, this is simple wording will change everything. It'll get you off to a good start. And just by not prejudging, and by letting people know that you are not coming there for a donation, you're not coming there for a sponsorship, you want to talk to them about a win-win-win community cross-promotion, this simple wording alone, 90% of the people will actually sit down and listen to you, which is going to at least dramatically increase your odds of getting the sponsorship. Because otherwise, when you said sponsorship or fundraising and things like that, they've already prejudged. They've already said no. So I hope this helps you here. So again, I will not prejudge. I will not prejudge. I will not prejudge. And when you simply contact people, asking them if they would be interested in sitting down with you to discuss this, you're not going to refer to it as sponsorships or fundraising. Whether you're talking to let's say you're talking to the Boys and Girls Club, and they say, well, why do you want to do a show for us? And look, I don't want to do a show for you. I want to do a win-win-win community cross-promotion where you, the Boys and Girls Club will win, the food bank's going to win, the firefighters are going to win, local business owners are going to win, and I'm going to win too. See? So whoever I'm talking to, I'm inviting everybody, and I use the same wording. We're a nonprofit group and one of my sponsors. Why am I talking to you? I want to create a win-win-win community cross-promotion where we all win. And everybody gets what they want, okay? That's the beauty of this. Nobody loses. The schools get what they want. They want their kids inspired. Boom, done. They need funds and awareness. Done. Nonprofit groups, they need funds and awareness. Check. Food banks need food. Check. You need gigs. Done. We all win. Okay, that is a win-win-win community cross-promotion. And this one strategy alone will dramatically increase your sponsorships. And if we never meet again, as long as you don't prejudge and you use these words, this alone will dramatically increase your sponsorships, I promise you. But I remember the day when I knew I hit the jackpot, when I finally realized that I have something pretty amazing in my hands. I was asked to do a presentation, or actually I called the local fair board. It's about 4 hours away. I asked if I could meet with the board of directors, come and do some shows at the fair. They said, we don't really have a whole lot of budget. And I said, don't worry about budget. I have an idea. They said, okay. You know, again, I didn't get them enough to prejudge on. I want to talk to them. We're doing a win-win-win community cross-promotion at the fair. So they said, sure. So I made an appointment. I drove 4 hours one way and met with the board. There was 20 members of the board. And after my presentation, they were going to vote yes or no. Yes, they would accept my presentation to perform at the fair, or no, they were not. And I was pretty confident because I was at that point, I was charging the fairs about $5,000. And I would offer that if the fair didn't have the $5,000, they could pay me $3,000 and I'll go get the other $2,000 from sponsors. So I was pretty confident in my ability to get sponsors. So I go meet with the fair. I talk about what I do and how we inspire kids and blah, 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 and all about my show. And it cost $5,000. And they said, sorry, we have no money. I said, no problem. You put up $3,000. I'll go get a couple thousand from sponsors. They said, well, Mr. Higgy, that's a great idea, but that's not really possible here. I said, why is it not possible? They said, we already went out. We've already approached all the local businesses, and every business that could afford to donate and help us, they all wrote us a check. So every single business has been approached. So you would be simply wasting your time. So they put it to a vote. 20 members voted to decline my offer because they didn't even have $3,000. Even though I could go, and they didn't believe that sponsors were possible because they already exhausted that resource. So they said, sorry, maybe next time, but no, this is not doable. So I walk outside, I go to my car, I don't even get in my car, and I think, crap, I wish that would have went better because now I got to drive 4 hours home, and I drove 4 hours here already kind of empty-handed. So before I got into my car, I just kind of looked across the street, and there were 3 little mom and pop businesses, and they were pretty small. And I'm going to be honest with you. My first thought, they can't afford it. They're too small. Then I thought, they've already been approached, especially being right across the street from the fair, like 100 yards away. They've already been approached. They probably already said no, or they've already sponsored. I don't know. So I thought, well, this sucks. I should just get my car and go home. But as I looked at this business, I took some of my own medicine and I said to myself 3 things. I will not prejudge. I will not prejudge. I will not prejudge. And I walked across the street. One of the businesses was a little video store. It's called King Kong Video. And they, back in the day, this is just before the year 2000, they rented out VHS tapes throughout the week. You know, you go in, get a little video membership, and you would go and rent a VHS tape and rent it and take it back. So I went and talked to him for about 15 minutes. And when I walked in his door, I said to myself, I will not prejudge. I will not prejudge. I will not prejudge. I sat down and talked to the owner for about 15 minutes, maybe how we could work together to help his video store and to help me inspire kids at the fair and to help at the fair itself. And I told him I went and met with them and they turned me down. We talked for 15 minutes and he wrote me a check for $2,000. He said, you go back and you show them this. I'm like, get out. I took the $2,000 check and I ran across the street. I was a little bit like Columbo going in, you know, knocked on the door, excuse me. And they looked at me like, hey, we already dealt with you. Like we already said no. They probably couldn't believe I had the balls even to go back. And again, I'm stuttering like crazy. So I go in, folks, sorry, one more thing, just one more thing. You know, I stood before you 15 minutes ago and you told me you already exhausted all the sponsorship opportunities, that there was no sponsorship money up there. Funny that, I walk outside, I walk across the street, and Dave over at King Kong Video just wrote me a check for $2,000. Should you fellows reconsider my offer? They looked at this and go, holy crap, $2,000, how'd you do that? I so walked across the street, talked to Dave. One of the members stood up and said, Dave's a very good friend of mine. I talked to him last week, asked him to help our fair. He gave me $50. He said, I don't get this. This doesn't make sense. Why would he give you $2,000 and he gave you $50? So I told him, you went there asking for a donation. You went there and said, help us. You wanted a donation. You wanted money for nothing. So he gave you money for nothing. What he could afford to donate, he gave you $50. Now, I didn't go there and talk to him about no donation. I went there and talked to him about a win-win-win-win-win community cross-promotion. I went and talked to him to see if there was a way that him and I could partner together so I could help his business to rent more videos every week. Can we come up with some strategy to make that happen? And together, if we were able to make that happen, we would benefit the fair. We would inspire a lot of children with my message and my story. The fair would benefit, local families would win, schools would win, and his business would win as well. Is it possible we could work out a win-win-win community cross-promotion where we all would win? We talked for 15 minutes what that might look like. He wrote me a check for $2,000. That's why I got the check. I didn't ask for a donation. I asked him for a win-win community cross-promotion, and he did. And just to finish that story, I got the gig. I got them the other $3,000 as sponsor. The second year we went back, King Kong Video sponsored me for $5,000. The third year went back, King Kong Video sponsors for $5,000 plus they footed the bill for a tent. You know, Dave ended up selling King Kong Video eventually, especially when the video craze was over, renting videos. He went and bought a big campground. I went and did his campground, his grand opening at no charge, and him and I still do business today. This is like 20 years ago. 25 years ago. He was at my birthday party a couple years back. We're still good friends. We still do win-win-win community cross promotions. And that's why I told the fair. Folks, I'm interested in helping monster truck owners. I'd like to create a program called KISS Sponsorship for Monster Truck Owners because I think there's a need here that I can share some secrets and knowledge with you that will help you to make a big difference with your monster trucks. I like to put together a little alpha group the way I did with entertainers and what I'm doing now with race car drivers. I'd like to invite a few of you to work with me. Let me put you through a 6 or 8 week program. Let me show you step by step, move by move, how to go get your sponsors. Let me show you how to make a difference with your trucks. I also like to help you to acquire my #1 conversion tool. This is a tool that I put together. It cost me about $20. And I made this little conversion tool. And this tool become one of the lifebloods of my business. I'm going to show you how to create this tool. In fact, this tool is so important. Many years ago, I was traveling in British Columbia, and I rolled my car down the mountains in the wintertime. And I had to climb back up to find my way back up the mountains. And I didn't take my suitcase. I didn't take my briefcase. I didn't take anything. But I took this one little tool sitting on my front seat because I knew with this tool, I knew I could get a motel, could get food. I knew with this conversion tool, I could get a car. I could have them all sponsored. Whatever I needed, I could get. And I'm going to help you make this tool. And if you join my program, this little alpha group, I'm going to help you create this tool. And I'm going to make sure that you never leave home without it. Let me tell you something. Many times I'm driving down the highway. I stop at a red light. I look across and I see opportunity. I take this little tool and I go in and get myself a sponsorship. I'm going to show you how to identify and approach low-hanging fruit on the ground. This is fresh fruit on the ground. All you got to do is pick it up. Your first sponsors are right in front of you. They're right in front of you. I'm going to show you how to find them, and I'm going to show you how to create win-win community cross-promotion with them. Let me tell you something. There's something called a reticular activator, and we all have it in our brains. Let me explain this, okay? I won't mention any brand name because I want to piss off the Chevy or Ford guys or whatever. But let's say you go out and you buy yourself a pickup truck. Let's say it's metallic blue and you kind of like it. This is a kind of cool truck. And you go and you buy this truck. You know, you haven't seen many of those trucks around. And all of a sudden you start driving home and all of a sudden you can't believe it. Those metallic blue pickup trucks are everywhere. You see one over here and there's one parked over there. Oh, there's one that's exactly the same as mine. Oh, there's one that's almost a little different than mine. And you start noticing these metallic blue pickup trucks everywhere. You notice them everywhere. It's because you've activated your reticular activator. You now notice those blue trucks. They were there yesterday, they were there last week, and they were last month. They're right in front of you. You just didn't see them. Same thing with sponsor opportunities. When you activate this activator in your brain will start seeing these sponsors. Let me explain. I travel a lot and I go through a lot of communities. Many times I stop at a red light, you know, just waiting for the light to turn green. I'm sitting there for a minute or so. And I glance to my left, I glance to my right, you know, I just kind of look around the way we all do. And all of a sudden, I start thinking, wow, there's a 500 sponsor, there's a $1,000 sponsor there, there's a $1,000, there's one over there. And I know I can pull my car over, I could walk 1, 2, 3, 4 little businesses on the corner. I could create a win-win community cross promotion where this business will win, this business will win, this business will win, and together we're going to do good things in the community. And I can set up things in motion that 2 or 3 weeks later, we're all going to partner. This is me and these 4 businesses on the corner of this street. And we're going to do great things in the community. And I can walk away there from $2,500 to $4,000. It's because my reticular activator notices these sponsors. And when we're done this program, you're going to know how to do this too. I want to show you how to create and present irresistible offers. So when you go out and meet with nonprofit groups and you meet with the local sponsors, they're going to say yes. And how we do this is we give them 2 to 10 times what they give us. So I'm going to teach you, if someone gives you a $500 sponsor, how to go give them $5,000 in rewards. Just so you stack the odds, they're going to get so much value that they're not going to be able to say no. I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do the VIP value stack, which is, again, giving them so much value that they cannot afford to say no. And I'm going to help you to keep accountable. I have done this for a very long time. I've trained a lot of people on get sponsorships. What happens in many training programs is kind of people, they're not accountable, and they're not accountable themselves or the family or this process. So we're going to team you up with other members of this alpha group, and we're going to do things as teams and together, and we're going to help each other. I'm going to keep you accountable, and you're going to keep me accountable, and together we're all going to do this together. So this way you're not going to miss any of the training, because what we're going to do is we're going to benefit the entire group. So I'm going to help you to put this in place, and this one little thing, accountability, is going to make all the difference in the world, because you will get results for sure, because we're going to work as friends, and we're going to help each other through this. I'm going to help you to create urgency with no pressure. I'm going to help you move by move, step by step. So in this 8-week process, you know exactly what to do so you can go and get your first sponsor deals. I'm going to call it KISS sponsorship for monster truck owners. And I want you to begin this on Sunday, November 3rd. Sunday, November 3rd. If there's enough interest, I will create this and have this up and running by Sunday, November 3rd. The reason I picked Sunday, November 3rd is I figure it's going to take about 8 weeks, 8 weeks of training, just a little couple hours a week, take about 8 weeks for me to put you through this program so that you can easily identify who your potential sponsors should be. So you can go in with confidence. You can pitch this in a way that you know they're going to be interested. You'll price this profitably. It'll work for you and them. And it's going to take about 8 weeks. So if we start this on November 3rd, we go through 4 weeks in November, 4 weeks in December. So by Christmas, by the January 1st, you will be armed and dangerous, ready to go. You know, the biggest time of year for sponsorships is right into the new year, January 1st. Most businesses set all their budgets for sponsorships. So the last couple of weeks in December, early January, you're going to go out in full force. These businesses are looking for new opportunity to promote their business throughout the year, and you're going to have everything you need to know to leverage this to set up your own win-win community cross promotions. Like the main thing is results, right? You need sponsors for your trucks. I'm going to help you get that. Nonprofit groups in your area, they need funds and awareness. I'm going to help you to make that happen. And I'd like to be able to document your success for my coaching program so I can go out and help other monster truck owners with what I've learned by teaching you. So I'm going to get the results I want. You're going to get the results you want. And the folks that we help in your community, we're all going to get results by partnering together. Again, all I ask at the end of this program is I'll get a testimonial and you're going to get the results, okay? And I hope you find that win-win. We all help each other. So if you're interested in joining this Alpha group, we're going to ask you for a small skin in the game commitment of $750. Most of my Alpha programs, if you talk to my members, which I'll give you access to if you need, you can check with some of my former students. Most of my students paid $1,000, $1,500, even $2,000 to join my Alpha and Beta programs. It was worth every penny of them. Many of my sponsors went out and got $1,000 sponsor in the first couple days of training. But if you're looking to be part of this Alpha program, we're going to ask you to make a small skin in the game of $750. One little sponsor will recoup your entire investment. What you make from every day after that will be 100% yours. Also, you have to look at the cost of what happens if we don't do this. If we don't do this, what's it going to cost you? What's going to cost you in lost opportunity, right? I know $750 is a bit of a commitment. I get it. And I want this to be a commitment. If I charge you $50 or $100, you wouldn't apply yourself. But I want this $750 hurt a little bit so you actually go through the program and you actually go out and get your money back by getting sponsors. But you also ask, if I don't do this, what's it going to cost? What's it going to cost me and my business? How much is time I'm going to lose by not having this opportunity? How's it going to affect my relationships at home if I don't do this? So you have to take that into consideration as well. And again, I want this to be win-win. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw in a little bonus here. I had some special training I did for some of my VIP members in another program. In this recording, I revealed the secret of how I make an extra $100,000 a year with realtors alone. And this is a killer training program. I've never included this in any of my Alpha programs ever before. This is for my VIP members that's been with me for a while. This is an advanced strategy on how I personally make $100,000 a year from realtors as a magician. I'm going to give you access to this recording as a bonus. Over and above your training, I'm going to go through this with you so that you can go out and benefit from realtors alone. I feel very confident. I feel very confident that after you watch this training, I feel very confident you can walk out and speak to a realtor that you already know, and you can get $1,000, $1,500 sponsorship, and you're going to ask them one little question. You're going to ask them one little question, and that's going to result in a second $1,000 or $1,500 sponsorship. I can almost guarantee you're going to make $1,500 to $2,500 by your first realtor you present this to, which will more than take care of your training. And that's why I'm going to throw this in. I just want this to be irresistible. So not only do we get all the training, everything I promise you, but I'm going to give you access to this extra training. And I've never shared this with an Alpha group ever before, but I want you to get results. And I know realtors are going to love what you're doing with your monster trucks. As an extra bonus, I'm going to show you how to do business online. I'm going to show you some of the free tools that you can use online, some of the streaming tools, some of the promotion tools that I use. And this will allow you to get sponsors in businesses that are not in your area. Because normally you want to go in and deal with local sponsors in person, but many times you're trying to do some events, like you want to do on tour, or you're going to a convention, a couple states away, you're driving through some cities. Why not be able to set up some gigs and opportunities for yourself and your trucks along the way? So I'm going to show you the tools I use for my online presentations. I'm going to show you how I use the internet to my advantage. And these are tools that are all free. You're probably not using any of them. And I'm going to give you some training on this as a little bonus for joining my Alpha group. And again, this is something I normally haven't shared with the Alpha groups. Another little bonus is we're going to set up some interviews with other monster truck owner operators from around the world that are very successful as sponsorships, and other experts as well. And I'm going to bring in 3 or 4 experts. I'm going to interview the crap out of them, find out what do they know about sponsorships. I'm going to record these interviews I do with these other experts. So not only will we learn from me, you're going to learn from other experts as well. I'm going to record all these, and I'm going to grant you access to this as a little bonus for joining this Alpha program. So as a recap, you're going to get all the sponsorship training, all the 8-week course, everything you need to know about sponsorships. I'm going to give you my #1 conversion tool, Never Leave With Home. I'm going to help you build this, and you'll have it everywhere you go. I'm going to share with you my advanced training for making $100,000 a year from realtors. I'm going to give you access to our private VIP Facebook group where you can ask questions anytime, anything you want to know about sponsors. You ask questions, I'm going to answer them. Even a year after you take your program, you answer a question in this forum, I'm going to answer your questions, okay? $750, entire investment. All you need is one sponsorship to get your money back. Now, again, I want this to be win-win. If $750 is a bit of a stretch for you, I get it. I know it takes a lot of money to run your monster trucks. I also know most of you are funding your monster trucks out of your own pocket, which makes it tight for expenses. If it will help you, okay, I will break this down in 2 payments of $375. You put at $375 to begin the program. Again, we're going to start November 3rd. And we ask for the second $375 sometime in December. And here's what I'll do. After you get your first $1,000 sponsor, pay me my $375, okay? I'm going to help you to get it. So there's not too many programs where they'll say, hey, I'm going to pay you to learn. Because by the time you pay me the second payment of $375, you're already going to have $1,000 or $2,000 in your bank, okay? So $375 to start. We'll start November 3rd. If you're interested, if this makes sense for you, and $375 sometime in December after you go and get $1,000 of sponsors. Okay, and if you keep your commitment, when you graduate, I'm going to make sure that any new version of this program, as it moves into the alpha into a beta program, then as it moves into a full-blown launch, this program will change slightly as I add new content and what's the best of the best. And when we finish that version in a few months from now, you're going to get all that at no extra charge as well. Okay. And I'm also going to give you ongoing support when you need to get sponsors on board and to help you maximize return on any events you do. If you have an event coming up, if I can help you, you're going to ask it in the forum, and I'm going to help you everywhere I can. Again, I want this to be win-win. So November 3rd will be the first training, and we'll do 8 weeks in a row until the end of the year to have everything you need to know. But I'd like to start this November 3rd because I want to make sure when January comes that you already have all the training. So November 3rd, if there's enough interest. If there's no interest in this Alpha program, we'll just scrap the idea. I'll just continue working with my entertainers. I'll continue working on the race cars, and I'll just move on. I'll go on to another area where people are looking for sponsorship help. But I really believe that there's an opportunity. I think we were brought together for a reason. Thank you, Scotty, for even bringing this to my attention, because I think there's a real need for you guys to go out and do good things in your trucks. And I know you're looking to make extra income. So let's get started on November 3rd if there's enough interest. If there's no interest, again, no harm done, okay? I will accept all applicants, and this is not meant to be pushed in any way. I'm only looking for a few drivers to work with. I'm not looking for hundreds. I'm looking for a handful of drivers that have monster trucks that are serious about making this happen, and I want to go out and help you to make this happen. All seats at this round table will be on a first come, first served basis. So if you're interested, please let me know right away. If you're not, no harm done. Again, drivers struggle to get sponsors for many reasons, but I'm telling you, let me work with you for 8 weeks. No longer will not having enough time be a factor, because I'm going to show you how to get sponsors wherever you're doing already. So you just go your normal routine. You're going to do what you do normally every day, and I'm going to show you, as you do your normal routine, I'm going to show you how to pick up sponsorship income along the way. I'm going to show you my proven formula for getting sponsors, the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3, step-by-step, everything you need to know. I'm going to give it to you in this 8-week Alpha program, so you will have a proven success formula that is proven to get sponsors on board. I'm going to give this to you. No longer will you have to compete with other drivers because you're going to offer so much value that this will be a slam dunk. If you're competing, I'll tell you how effective this is. 1986, I was competing to open West Edmonton Mall. The winner that the entertainer selected would perform for 140,000 people. There was 2,000 offers from 2,000 entertainers, all trying to get this gig. Open West Edmonton Mall, 140,000 would be present. Out of 2,000 entertainers, they picked my proposal. I know how this works. I'm going to help you. Never again will you ever have to compete with other drivers for sponsorships. Time won't be a factor. You'll have a system, and you won't have to compete with other drivers. And your fear will be greatly reduced. No longer will you have to fear where to go because you're going to know who to talk to. No longer will you fear what to say because I'm going to give you my script. No longer will you fear of knowing what to charge because I'm going to show you how to price your sponsorships. No longer will you fear of asking for the sponsorship because I'm going to show you how to create urgency. You'll have no fear when you're done. I'm going to show you the low-hanging fruit, the fresh fruit in the ground. I'm going to show you step by step, 1, 2, 3, everything you need to know to go out and create these win-win community cross promotions. So here we are. You need sponsors. At least now you know that a couple things that you know not to prejudge. Now you know that if you say, I want to create a win-win community cross promotion, but better chance of getting the appointment. And you know that there are groups and organizations out there who want to partner with you to make good things happen. And there's also businesses out there that will partner with you and the nonprofit groups to make things happen. You have two choices at this point. You can go it alone, or I can help you. It's your ball. If you're interested, if this makes sense in any way, you want to be part of this alpha group, you want to learn the right way to get sponsors, and you want to make a big difference in the community, you want to help me to help drivers around the world to do the same, contact me at claudehagerty@gmail.com. I'll send you a PayPal invoice, pay $375. We'll get you going into the Facebook group with all the training. And sometime in December, you can pay your balance. If not, simply pass. No pressure. It's all up to you. I'm Claude Hagerty. Folks, whether you join my program or not is up to you. But go out and do good things with your trucks. Sponsors will help you make it happen. Please say to yourself, I will not prejudge, I will not prejudge, I will not prejudge. And please make sure you always make it a win-win-win opportunity where we're all wins. Good luck. Thanks for watching. And I hope I can help you down the road. Take care.